Spacey, Sims, and we are back with more London Detective Mysteria. And shenanigans ensued in the last part, didn't they? That was pretty amusing. Anyway, so Pendleton's locked in the basement, and Lupin's running loose in her house. And my bet is he's looking for the picture, not the painting kind of portrait. So anyway, if not, that would just be weird. I mean, it just, you know what I mean? It like totally pointed to it with him staring at it like for so long, but I mean, who knows? Anyway. Elsewhere, Scotland Yard officers remained unaware that such deception had taken place. Those still at their stations stood still, finding nothing, and in some ways hoping that nothing would become something to cure their boredom. Hoping that nothing would become something to cure their boredom. Is it me, Ryan, or is there something fishy hanging in the air? With all due respect, Inspector, that smell isn't fish, but roses. Floral scents have been rather popular with young ladies, you know. I know that. I meant that something is clearly amiss. I didn't think much of it when Miss Whitley left, but even her butler and Lupin have disappeared. Something is plainly... Never mind that. We need to find Lupin Jr. It's like there's a... Like, do they not hear that noise? Like, Inspector Lestrade and Ryan were the next to hit the ground with a soft thud, and it wasn't long before surrounding officers fell in suit. All discussion became muted at the behest of a wonderful scent. Oh, I thought I heard something anyway. In the story, it was Sleeping Beauty has slumbered whilst cradled by a castle of thorns. Alas, all the fairy delivers to me among the smell of roses is a throng of poor-figured men. What a pity. Lupin stepped lightly in the direction of the bedroom where the portrait was hidden. How does he know it's there? There it hung, gorgeous, enchanting, enticing. He extends his hands to its frame. So he is actually looking for the painting. Okay. Ah, but there's a beauty to be found after all. But stop just short of touching it. How blessed I am to meet with you here, my little Briar Rose. Oh, look at how beautiful he is. And she is so derpy. Don't move, Lupin! In my own hands was a pistol I had borrowed from a sleeping officer. I stood at the entrance to the room, weapon pointed, legs apart in a fierce stance. Lupin looked not the least bit disturbed. That is a dangerous weapon. Revolverous. Revolverous! Okay. That is a dangerous weapon, revolverous. It does not suit you. Perhaps you've forgotten, but I'm a detective. If you think I'm just a simple, defenseless girl of the nobility, then you shall regret it. You were the one who delivered the roses this morning, weren't you? Did you like them? I made certain there was an excess in red, the better to convey my love to you. I love him so much. What a waste! Why would I blush over flowers when it would lead to the theft of my family's portrait? Stay calm, Spacey. You can't let him frustrate you. This is like you want her to get the upper hand, but at the same time, you don't. Because, like, you just ruined the story. I mean, it's going to come out eventually, but just saying. I confirm that the gardener from this morning was an imposter. You used the roses for 2 reasons. The first was a ploy to get inside. Alicia mentioned to me that there were so many, the gardener had to assist her in bringing them in. He sounds like a true gentleman. That was when you were able to confirm the location of the portrait. But you moved it, did you not? Even if I, by your own accusation, learned of the portrait's location as this gardener, my efforts would be for naught if it has been moved. The thief remained emotionally uncornered. Throughout this engagement and my irritation, he watched me with amusement, with his eyes half lidded above a guardless smile. And so you've explained the second reason. You made it so you would discover its location again where it moved. You filled the entire mansion with this rose. But upon infiltrating the mansion as the gardener, you used perfume to affix an entirely different scent to the portrait. The area nearest to the portrait smells completely different to everywhere else, and I possess no such perfumes in this mansion. Damn, girl! Figure that out? The scent of roses masks the sleeping gas as well, leaving Scotland Yard without any idea of where it was coming from. I'm sure you thought your brilliant plan was foolproof, but I'm more clever than you think. I learned a thing or two from my life as an upper-class lady. For the sake of argument, I'll assume the role of your sneaky gardener. How would I have sauntered through all your servants to apply the perfume without anyone noticing? Why must I entertain the question? You're a gentleman thief, yes? Creating falsehoods is what you do. Switching from a gardener to a servant would be child's play to you, would it not? Or, you know, Lupin did it when he was in your house. But I'm just saying, she doesn't know that, but I'm just thinking it's a possibility. Our dance continued. I watched Lupin as he watched me, waiting for him to react. I cannot fucking wait for the reveal when she figures out they're the same person. It's gonna be goddamn gold. He did. His shoulders took on a different drooping than the one of relaxation, as did his smile twist narrowly to one of defeat. Suspicious, I'm just, well done, my princess. And I should propose another question. My hope was that I would stumble upon you, your face in blissful sleep, accompanied by the scent of roses. And yet here you stand. All my hopes are dashed. Why is that so? Had I entered the mansion even moments earlier, your hopes would have been realized, I'm sure. I owe it to my mother that they weren't. Rather, I owe it to her hand glass. Oh my god, her in the goddamn mirror. Just before stepping into the mansion, I realized that I had left it behind in the carriage, so I hurried back to go and collect it. I see. The goddess Fortuna smiles down upon us both, then. We make for a smart match, don't we? My fortune is your misfortune, Lupin! I won't allow you to steal my portrait! It means the world to me, and I will protect it! Brave words from a woman who hasn't even cocked the pistol, she points. What? But I have! So you did. My mistake. Eek! She's an eager, I'm okay with this. I was startled by the weapon flying out of my grip. A culpritus? A culpritus. Is that a word? Okay. A culpritus playing card lay next to it on the floor. Knowing it to be my only advantage against Lupin, I dived to retrieve it, but my fingers couldn't even touch it before it was kicked away. If only I'd moved sooner. He's got to get the upper hand, I'm sorry, but... What a tragedy for you, Spacey. That my spot in my style should include finding the most entertaining way I may deceive my opponents. Well, I wasn't entertained! Now, you needn't pout that bottom lip. My thinking was that you would suit this more than any pistol. To his words, he produced an immaculate red rose. Whatever the scene, Lupin's smile wouldn't leave him, and with the refinement of a prince, he glided to me and offered me this gift. I would have preferred he threw it in my face. Gosh, she's so feisty. I've had enough of your heartless games, Lupin! All of my fury compounded into the hand that smacked his own aside. Oh, girl. Ow! It was my next mistake. I knew at the moment a burning pain seared my palm, that which could only be alleviated by pressing into it with my opposite thumb. Of course. Oh, of course a rose from him would have thorns. I hate this. I fell for another one of his stupid tricks. Just how many times must you make a fool out of me? Even asking became quite suddenly an effort. With each word, my body grew heavier. No, does this rose have something in it too? I could support myself no longer. My body, quaking with weightlessness, dropped forwards. I'm sorry to put you through this, Spacey. Lupin caught me before I crashed to the floor. And no doubt you wouldn't forgive me for this theft, but for my own end, I must carry the burden of being cruel. I expected the last thing I'd see would be that infuriating smile, but there was no such thing. A man different to what I had come to think of the gentleman thief. A man who, from all I knew, was a pretentious lawbreaker with debonair trappings, looked at me with regretful eyes. I only observed it as briefly as time would allow it. As I breathed in, a musky scent enveloped the room, reached my nostrils, and bid me a restful sleep. Oh. See, but I told you he had some kind of weird, noble reason for stealing our painting. The next thing I recall is someone shaking my shoulders. It took only moments before I opened my eyes to see that Pendleton was the one responsible. My lady, are you unhurt? He asked, but in my stirring state, it was difficult to comprehend the question or respond thoughtfully. Though I said nothing, my eyes went from dull to focused, regaining their clarity enough for him to understand I was well. I sat up. At some point I was moved from the floor to a bed. I am so deeply sorry, my lady. I couldn't help but notice that Pendleton, who rarely expressed disturbance of any kind, addressed me between irregular breathing. Lupin has stolen the painting, just as he said he would. I couldn't be more ashamed of myself. Oh, Pendleton. I'm sorry, I knew he was there and I knew he'd come back, but it's just so funny because he's going to be like, I was passed out. They're going to be like, probably. Yeah, no, we figured you got cocked. I love, oh God, I love it. Anyway. And I was put to sleep like everyone else, Miss Whitley. I wasn't any help to you at all. It was then that I saw no painting on the wall where one should have been. In its place, much smaller, but hung with equal care, was the Queen of Spades. So he did it. And I let him. I let him steal one of my family's heirlooms. I wondered if I should have been angry with him, but I wasn't. What I felt was anger, certainly, but it was more towards myself. In the clearest of ways, he did what he said he would, and I did not. But I don't understand why he looked so sad then. Why? Recalling that moment made me look down at my injured hand, which, to my surprise, was wrapped in a bandage. He's so fucking adorable. Pendleton, were you the one who did this? I'm afraid I wasn't. Then it was him. No matter how I reasoned it, I could not understand what Lupin was thinking. Right, because you don't understand why he took the painting, but we'll figure that out, don't worry. Night passed, dawn rose. And with the new day came a baffling new development. What the hell? Oh, what's the meaning of this? This is the stolen painting, isn't it? Why is it here? I wish I knew. If it's come back here, then there's a chance it's false. And the handwriting is to inscribe the date on the back is the same as the original, and there's no mistaking this to be anything other than the true painting. The act confused me all the more. The painting of Queen Victoria had been promptly returned to the mansion by an unnamed sender. He feels so guilty about stealing it. Oh, or he got whatever he needed out of it. I don't know. Lupin Jr. returning something stolen is unheard of. What's next? Will London's pigs sprout wings and fly? Shh. Yes. Now that's a funny thought, Inspector. Everyone knows pigs can't fly. Oh, God, Ryan. It's a figure of speech, you idiot. I shall awaken the noble form of Her Majesty from her restful sleep. Was he lying in his notice, then? That wasn't right. A person so captivated by his own methods of thievery would never retract a declaration. Or could it be he was after something else? But we don't have anything else with Her Majesty's face. I inspected the portrait closely now that it was back in its original position in the hall. Nothing appeared damaged or altered, except for what was around the portrait. I told you! The photograph's gone! The photograph? You don't mean the one of Lord and Lady? Yes, it was here just yesterday, I'm certain of it. And this tablecloth has the faint scent of perfume lingering on it, too. The scent wafted to my nose. See, but it's funny that he still went for the painting. I guess it's because he had to play the game and make it look like he was there for the painting so that if she actually bested him, you know, or, oh, okay, you bested me, she'd be like, hi, saved my painting. She would never know the picture was gone. But he actually took the painting and then was like, I didn't want to take this damn painting. Fuck. I gotta return it. Interesting, though. It's interesting that after putting her to sleep, he actually took the painting and then returned it. Weird. Anyway, the scent wafted to my nose. To think it was only the night before when I last smelled this and last saw that curiously regretful face. I'm sorry to put you through this, Spacey. I no doubt you won't forgive me for this theft, but for my own end, I must carry the burden of being cruel. Could it be? Was the photograph his target? I told you. I'm still curious why he did the painting. Anyway, but I knew it was a photograph. But why? For what reason would a thief go to such lengths? No, this isn't the time to be pondering why. He's stolen a valuable clue in the mystery behind my parents' murders. I must retrieve it, no matter what it takes. It was another several days before Lupin issued his next declaration. The target would be the much-rumored holy grail of Arthurian legend, a golden cup, a noted subject over the nobility's tea parties in the past. Though I had no connection to this particular treasure, I decided that wherever he was to go, I was to lie in wait to recover my photograph. If I were to venture a guess, Miss Woodley, you intend to capture Lupin before I can. I'd have hoped you understood by now that overestimating your capabilities leads to ruin, but I'll tell you myself if I must. Be sensible and stay away. I'm doing no such thing! I just want my photograph returned to me. You've not made the erroneous judgment of assuming Lupin a true gentleman, have you? He's a criminal. Surprise attacks are just one of the many means he employs. The one who catches him in the end will be me, not you. Stay out of this. Oh, Watson, come with me. But... Come on, Holmes! And off he goes. He could have waited. He's not been himself, Spacey. You remember when we were outsmarted during the case with the earrings and necklace? Sparked a fire under him ever since. Oh, I get the feeling. She understands. I don't, because I'm like, no, just let Lupin have his fun. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'm not stressed about it. It isn't as if he means to be rude to you, so just know you haven't done anything wrong. That said, I do agree with his intent. I'd rather you were more careful with yourself. You are a young lady. And a detective, as it seems we've all forgotten. I know you are, but consider how violence against women has been on the rise of late. It's just proof that somewhere in the future, violence against women is just going to be commonplace, and no one's going to understand why that's a problem. I think we understand why it's a problem. Some people don't understand why it's a problem. A lot of us, at least half of us do. It wouldn't be right for you to wander into town alone, would it? And now when something terrible could happen, and it's gonna get worse. Like, right now you think the violence is bad, honey. It gets worse in the future. That was the last of his point before he turned heel to join Holmes. Hello? Miss Whitley? Lupin, how long have you been standing there? This entire time, as it happens. And I wanted to say something. I wasn't of any help to you during the theft. I know I've said it before, but I'm truly sorry. It was one of a string of apologies from him, and his guilt became mine. You've nothing to apologize for, Lupin. If even Pendleton fell victim to one of his tricks, then I doubt many could get the better of him. Plus, you're kind of fucking useless. I mean, we love you, but you're kind of... I mean, he's really not, but you know what I mean? To everyone, they're like, you can't even keep a ring on your finger without losing it. I'm just saying, we kind of expect this from you. No, we expected you to get knocked out. It's fine. I tripped and fell and knocked myself out. Yeah, we know. We know. It's pretty standard for you. So when it comes out that he's Lupin, it's going to be fucking great. They're going to be like, what? And I'm going to be like laughing my ass off. I'm just the joy of anticipating it is, God. I can't be as bold as Holmes can, and I'm not as thoughtful as Watson. I'm useless in every possible meaning of the word. Oh, I love you. Lupin wasn't one for confidence, but his contempt for an event that was, by all accounts, out of his control was greater than normal. I don't want him to think such things. He's far from worthless in my eyes. He just needs someone to lift his spirits a bit. You aren't. In truth, there's a favor I should like to ask of you. If there was any request that would give him long due confidence, it would be asking him to escort me to the scene of the gentleman thief's next crime. This is my friend Lupin. He's a fellow detective, and you are bringing the thief into the... This is even better. And then she's like, wait. So you are Lupin, and I've been bringing you literally into it and making it easier for you. Damn it! Oh, it's great. He did respond with vehement reluctance in the beginning, his usual stammering and quivering, but after further explaining, he agreed to join me. I hadn't meant to keep you standing here for so long, Lupin. Sneaking out of the mansion without Pendleton noticing proved to be rather difficult, I must admit. I don't mind, but oh dear, you didn't ask Pendleton? I would gladly ask if he were the type to say yes, but I know well enough that he would forbid it. I left him a note, of course, telling him exactly where we'll be going. All is well. I see now why he's so strict with you. All right, come. The Earl's mansion is near St. Luke's on the other side of the Thames. Of course, it's getting dark, so we should be quick about it. If we don't arrive before the declared time, that might pose, a bit of a problem. An excellent thought, and I shall count on you to show me the way. You know London much better than myself after living here longer. They're gonna get fucking lost because it's Lupin. Indeed, he showed distinct familiarity with the streets down to their back alleys. Bit by bit, he navigated through clean or dingy, thin and wide, tall and small areas that would have been incomprehensible to me. Shouldn't that rag a flag? Like, he knows. Wait, why do you know all these things? I need to sneak place. No, I don't know. No reason. Though he moved swiftly, whatever the cleanliness or size, he often turned to me, a glint of concern in his eyes, to see if I was maneuvering with similar speed. Oh. But it was not without incident. In a space that was remarkably dirty, remarkably narrow, and remarkably ominous, waited 3 remarkably frightening men.
Well, hello there. You've certainly got a pretty face with your riches, miss. To go with your riches.
There was a hungriness about him, the wildness of the wideness of his grin, that struck me with a horrible dread.
My good man, first with that maid, and now a gal with deep pockets. About time you get a whiffer of the finer things.
Trying so hard to read the words with the act, like, it's so hard. Oh my God. I think we should go another way, Miss Whitley. Yes, we should. As he turned to exit the alley, so did I.
Oh, miss, you can't join us for a bit of fun. We don't mean no harm. You're a gentleman friend'll get the boot, though.
Ah! Lupin! The man balled his fist and sent it to Lupin's cheek, slamming him against the ground before he could realize what was happening. I tried to run to him. Really, I did.
All right, m'lady. That's the sort of lingo ye wealthy always...
Oh, ye wealthy always use. Oh my God. So hard to read. Oh my God.
Ye wealthy always use. I imagine. Be a good gal and come along.
Imagine.
I imagine.
Well, this is going to make our theft go bad, huh? I was soon pinioned by 2 of the men, and my arms wrenched of their freedom. Fear became a fragrance in the form of the alcohol and medicine coming from their breath. I could have choked on it. How the fuck is Lupin going to do that? The more I struggled to break free at the wrist, the tighter the grip upon me felt. Let me go! Let me go! Oh, Lupin! Oh, Lupin, get up!
Back! Keep yourself still!
Ah! After a short, sharp, plosive sound, I felt a warm ache in my cheek. Oh. This ache from being slapped made its way to the back of my head, down my neck and through my body, paralyzing me.
Miss Whitley!
Oh, Lupin is so much tougher. But it's going to be so hard. He's like, I gotta play this loop and not the... Oh, this is gonna be hard for him. Like, he's like, I gotta balance the weak with the, like, I will fucking take you out, bitch. Like...
Easy, chap. We ain't gonna kill her. We just want to taste a real sweet bit of jam. So no need for your blood to go on up.
Oh, yes there is. That's so gross. Ah. Creepy rapist.
You look a right bit the sissy, but you tolerate a good thrashing like a man. I shall fancy myself a real boxer then.
Whenever Lupin tried to move, he was struck without mercy. He stood, he was struck. He stood again and was struck again. He did so even when he barely could, and the man, full of wild, horrid energy, knocked him against the ground. Every blow caused my chest to tighten and the breath to be stopped at my throat. Lupin, stop it! Please, stop hurting him!
You do have a fondness for orders. Let me go! Don't hurt the chap! Hear that, dear?
I beg you, please let her go! Please!
Huh? You hear something? I ain't heard anything, and I ain't deaf, so get on with it now. Leave him so we can have our fun with her.
Just throwing in random accents now. No! Ugh. When Lupin could no longer move, this third man assisted his comrades. I had been rooted, frozen by a circumstance by which escape was made impossible. They were close, and they drew closer by the second. Pendleton to the rescue. Just run, I wanted to scream at myself. Just run, run, run! Anywhere is better! But my body was denied movement. The inside of my mind went white. When I felt the touch of fingers against my collar, however, I opened my mouth and cried the loudest scream I could muster. I'm not screaming really loud. Sorry. What are you? What's it? And they too cried out ugly groans of agony. I felt the man let go of my collar.
Cards? Jesus Christ! Who are...
My arms were free, but I'd been thrown to the ground. What was this? What happened? He's like whipping out the car. Fucking it! And then he's laying on the ground like, I don't know what happened either, Spacey. Fucking... Oh my god! The sight of several blood-stained items strewn along the ground caught my attention. Playing cards. To these cards did the men clutch their arms and necks. They now wore thin lines, upon first sight invisible, and in seconds deepening with red as blood tied into the surface. In this moment, they were focused up to one spot. Is this where we realize Lupin and Lupin are the same person? Oh, I was hoping it came later! He was like, fuck this, I ain't got time for this. He's like, we don't have time for pleasantries, let's go. And she's like, what the fuck just happened? He's like, I like how Lupin with the question mark. So am I supposed to read in his voice, or I'm going to read the Lupin voice, not the you know what I mean? And there are few crimes worse than that of sullying what's beautiful. It's fucking amazing. Lupin? They were fixed upon him, expressions bulging in terror, as he now stood unbothered by his injuries. Lupin, conversely, displayed none of his usual meekness or inclination to hesitate. His face was so grim that I nearly thought someone else had come to the scene. Get out of my sight! The tone was unnatural, coming from his mouth, deep and overbearing.
I told ye! There ain't no need for your blood to go up!
Oh god.
Shut up! You're gonna get us killed! Let's get out of here!
So they fled the alley without so much as a final glance. Now only two remained. Lupin, you're... I knew the man who stood before me. His hair was disheveled, his cheeks swollen, and his glare cold. But I saw through those. Only one man would make cards weapons. I mean, the fact that he can make a fucking playing card a weapon. Only one man would speak of beauty the way he did. Lupin, are you... I miss talking like, did they hurt you? She's like, what the fuck? I'm looking at me. And did they hurt you at all, Miss Whitley? He turned so I could no longer see his face. No, I'm all right, but what about you? I fear I can no longer stay at your side. I slumbered within my own castle of thorns, you see, and you, Prince Charming, have come to wake me. Yet I don't wish to see you hurt by those thorns. Farewell, Spacey. Wait, Lupin! He behaved as though I never said anything. My shouting became in vain as he disappeared into the evening. He's like, God damn those hooligans! I was now alone, left behind with only my heart to race and mine to run rampant. The friend I adored and the enigma with whom I held a grudge were one and the same. This is not as good of a reveal as I was disappointed by the what? Like, it should have been so much better. Like, I don't think it's hit. It's like a, but that's it? Really? He's the same bird? Like, I was expecting so much more of like a slap. Like, and this was just like a gentle shove. Like, oh, man. Expecting it to be so much better, but how could the Lupin I've been schoolmates with, how could he be the gentleman thief? Okay, now it's like, wait. There was little more I could do but watch where he last stood. Night arrived. Lupin, dressed for his work, stood with a man who knew both of his faces. This was no antagonist, but in some manner both an irritant and a fellow he trusted wholeheartedly. Someone who knows both his faces. Well, care to provide an explanation? Interesting. Women, as I've taught you, are to be treated with the utmost insincerity, yes, but some secrets are best left unsaid. I'm in no mood for one of your lectures tonight, Papa. Oh, this! Oh! Shh, I think it's old Lupin. Oh my god, he could almost have the same hair, but where did he get the mole? Just pretend, guys. It's sad when, like, Sherlock and when, like, Lupin show up at this, you're like, no, I just want to imagine the Code Realized characters as their parents. It's too funny. In Lupin's possession was the golden cup of his declaration. But I must. You've chosen the girl over your most secret of secrets. Have you taken to becoming her knight in shining armor? And no. In my own way, I'm still a gentleman thief with your blood. Then I have a question for you, thief. Why did you return the portrait? Is there a problem with me doing so? Must my lessons be for nothing? Where in my world of thievery did I hint at returns? He's being... Okay, you're being a little too cold from the Lupin we're used to in Code Realized, so if you could simmer the fuck down and be a little more like him, that'd be great. You're my successor, child. Do not forget that. You can't give him the Lupin voice, because Lupin already has a Lupin voice, and Pendleton kind of has a Lupin voice, and there's too many people with the Lupin voice, so... I don't need reminding. I know what I am. An elusive gentleman thief who never lets his target escape. But I know, Papa, that I have my way just as you have yours. I'd rather you not interfere with how I do things. I'm a thief of elegance, and I become less so when you question me at every turn. Are you trying to provoke me? Am I? If that's how you want to interpret it, then so be it. Mon Dieu, you were once a splendid boy, and now your mouth runs faster than your feet. But I love it. Oh, you radiant charm. You are like I was at your age. Women should never know who you are, but you had a kid. He didn't just magically appear. I'm just saying, how did this work? Oh, well, you know. That's right, Cardia knows. That's right. Arsène Lupin is not really good at pretending. I was only obedient because I didn't know any better. You refused to teach me anything but the life of a thief. I didn't want to take on the role of a knight then, and certainly I radiated no charm, taking blow after blow. This dialogue between two criminals, with the moon as its sole witness, was done. I wanted awkward little Lupin for a little bit longer, because I love him so much. I really do. I just wanted him around longer. Oh. I had my suspicions before entering Harrington for the day, but it wasn't possible to know for certain till I saw Lupin's desk. I was right. It was empty.
I've received word that Mr. Lupin will remain absent for class for a time.
Would it be possible to ask why, sir?
From what I've been told, he tripped on a staircase on his way home, spreading both his ankles in the process. It's a preferable outcome to something much worse, fractures and the like, but if only I could have been injured in his place. It's horrible.
And everyone's like, yeah, no, it sounds like him. Like, both of his ankles? That is awful, even for Lupin. I hope it isn't too serious. Mr. Mackenzie, if I may, I should very much like to visit him.
I'm afraid you can't. I inquired about the subject myself, but I was told he wants no visitors whilst he recovers.
But, Miss Woodley, your attempts to meddle is nothing more than a nuisance. Would it be enough to simply respect Lupin's wishes and leave him be? Unless, do you have some specific reason you want to see him that you would disregard his wishes? Well, no response was fitting enough for this predicament. I need to hear him say he was Lupin. If he was, then I would need to fight a friend to take back my photograph. Beyond those two needs, however, a feeling I wish I could have ignored dominated all. Unease. I fear I can no longer stay at your side. I slumbered within my own castle of thorns, you see, and you, Prince Charming, have come to wake me. Prince Charming? Who's Prince Charming? And yet I don't wish to see you hurt by those thorns. Farewell, Spacey. What if this meant I could never see him again? He's been a deceptive man all this time. He's stolen something precious, too, so I should be furious with him. But you love awkward, nerdy Lupin, right? You're like, he's this dashing gentleman thief, but I love the awkward nerd. So so you're gonna marry him and he's gonna go off being like Lupin and they're gonna be like, oh, Jean Lupin is out there, and you're like, yeah, and John Lupine over here, like, whatever. You're like, yeah, my husband is this awkward nerd and falls and hurts himself all the time, but I know what he does on the side. Could you imagine if they just, like, got married and lived happily ever, and he's out there thieving, she has no fucking idea? Like, no clue? My husband. He's such a klutz. He could never be the dashing gentleman thief. He's so fucking great. She's pacing around all angry. Oh, that Lupin makes me so mad! And he's like, honey, calm down. And she's like, no! And he's like, this is weird. If she ever finds out, she's gonna kill me. Oh, I want an alternate version of this where she doesn't realize who he ever is and then they just get married, and I want that because I just need to see how that goes down. Why do I feel so sad when I see his empty chair? Because you love him. We do. I sighed. I could take no notice of lessons with such a vast hole in the room. This is like the lead up. Like, how's she going to handle a thief? Then we got to go to a murderer. Doo, doo, doo. The Metropolitan Police, Scotland Yard as it's also known, is the headquarters for the many young, bright officers who work daily to patrol London's streets. At its entrance was a comical sight, Sherlock Holmes, ever refined, and Inspector Lestrade pleading desperately for the detective's assistance. I forgot the voice I gave Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is still the prettiest. May I ask you, Holmes, what you think of Lupin Jr.'s crimes to date? They're bold, meticulous at every step, always in accordance with how he alone would do things and no other. It is a pity that his victims put forth so much effort when it's pointless against a fellow as crafty as he, and they may as well leave his desirables at their doorstep for all a good security will do. There's no need to be so cold. You've gone toe-to-toe with Arsène Lupin, haven't you? I don't understand how you think nothing of his successor creating chaos all across London. More little than nothing, but I fear I have my hands full at present. Oh, even I can see that. You have your walking stick in one hand and your pipe in the other. Oh, dear God, Ryan, that's not what he fucking meant. Just so. But this does mean I have no more of myself to spare. I must take care lest I lose my precious pipe. Wouldn't want that now. On the other hand, my son appears to have special interest in Lupin Jr. Perhaps it's best you speak with him. Huh? How considerate you are. I'm moved to tears by the bond between father and son. I feel like we're going to find out that, like, Ryan is Lestrade's son. Oh, the bond. And he's like, but you don't. He's like, that's because you're disappointment. I swear, I would laugh my ass off if that's a secret son. They're like, wait, but isn't Ryan your son? Yeah, well, he's a disappointment, I'm just saying. They're like, oh, ow. You, sir, crying? Why, I never thought I'd see the day. That was derisive, you idiot. Don't take everything I say literally. The photograph stolen from the Whitley mansion depicts Her Majesty and Miss Whitley's parents and their friends. The portrait under ordinary circumstances would be more tempting, so why did he go so far as to steal both to disguise the lesser prize? Don't leaf through those records so carelessly. I just finished getting them in order. Pardon me, Ryan. Even with my hands full, I still can't resist a case, I suppose. That was all sorts of over the place with his voices. Whatever. Several weeks came and went with no sign of Lupin. My focus dropped splendidly in this time. Were the men I knew one and the same? Where did Lupin take the photograph? Studies became plagued with questions I could not answer, and rather than dismiss them, my mind needed them again and again in an endless loop. Until the nation was once more sent into hysteria by a new declaration. The gentleman thief wrote in his usual flourish that his next target would be a pure variety of aquamarine known as Santa Maria. A researcher of distinguished celebrity was in possession of the gemstone he penned, which would soon, if all went as intended, be quite out of his possession. It was rumored to be in a research facility within Cheddar Gorge, located far west of London. Cheddar. At this rate, I'm never going to find him or my photograph. I can't let this chance pass me by. Holmes and Watson were to visit the facility at the request of Scotland Yard, and they saw no reason not to allow me to come with them. The facility, as I'd heard it, held the reputation as a modern aquarium, with its rooms hosting massive tanks full of life. I mean, we still have like 2 more, this chapter, another one, and then we have his chapter. But I really do wish that we had spent more time with, like, Nerdy Lupin. Like, I'm a little disappointed that the reveal came so fast, but, I mean, there's gotta be a reason for it, but... Were we not there for a case, I may have wanted to visit just to gaze at the many vibrant fish and aquatic plants.
Wow, look at them all swimming around. What a beautiful sight.
We didn't come here for recreation, Watson. And have you forgotten? These things you claim are so beautiful are half your fish and chips. You've seen them plenty of times over the years. On your plate. Probably not the pretty ones. That's not... Yeah, we don't... Yeah, well... It's rather difficult to enjoy the view when you think of it all as food.
Oh, to see the world through your superior pragmatism, Holmes.
With the distance between London and the Gorge being so great, it was only natural Pendleton would be with me. Yeah, considering the fact that the last time your guardian was actually the thief. But he did save your ass, I'm just saying. Could you imagine if he was like, I need to keep my identity secret from her, so I just let her get raped? That's not a gentlemanly thing to do. So, I'm sorry, Arsene, you're being a dickhole to your son. He's like, how dare you let her know who you are? And you're like, my choice was to be a gentleman and save her, or be a cad and let her get raped to protect my identity. You know what? Fuck that shit. He should have chucked the playing cards at them, and then she would have turned around and he would have been like, I don't know what happened. There was a dude in a white coat, and he just ran away. I don't know. Like, anyway. Apologies, my boy, but you'll likely have no role to play this time.
Good afternoon. You sound awfully confident.
Ah, of course he is. The gemstone has been hidden somewhere. Lupin would never dream of searching, and only Inspector and I know of it. It's in your pocket, isn't it, Ryan? God damn it. The sergeant stood boldly upright whilst he fixed his sleeves, a smirk crooked at such a comical angle that nothing could straighten it. I did notice the fabric at his elbow was a bit damp, but I kept that to myself. I'm not even gonna lie. He's like, oh, we put it somewhere safe. It's in one of the fucking fish tanks, isn't it? And then his fabric at his elbow is it's in a fish tank. Ask as much as you please, but our lips are sealed to all. I just want her to be like, it's in a fish tank, isn't it? And he's like, God damn it.
And we've learned to use more than a simple substitute for this one. If he tries to move the false gem even slightly, the cage will fall from the ceiling and trap him where he stands.
And were you permitted to build such an elaborate... And were you permitted to build such an elaborate thing in a facility that isn't yours?
Permitted? They were happy to let us. And once our foolish thief finds himself or nowhere to go, it's a one-way ticket to the cell for him.
But it's difficult to imagine him falling for such a trap.
Well, even if he doesn't, he won't be getting his hands on the Santa Maria. Not this time. And how can we guarantee this? By making secrecy absolutely paramount to our operation. Not a word of its true location shall pass these lips. After all, one of you could be the gentleman thief in disguise. Like you, for instance.
So here we go again. In the same manner as before, Ryan thrust his arm forwards and pointed. He was confident he knew precisely who the culprit was. The sergeant believed the thief to be disguised as none other than... We're supposed to pick Holmes, so... You think I may be Lupin? Holmes appeared calm in the face of this accusation. Holmes? Is Lupin? They're both overconfident, but Holmes possesses a particular arrogance that's unique to him. It would be a trial for anyone to mimic his sarcasm so faithfully. You know what's funnier, though? She should be like, oh, this again? She's like, ha! She's just... If I were, I would just be laughing. And he'd be like, what's so funny? I'd be like, nothing. It's just, it's that time with the painting, and you pointed out Lupin, of all people, and you were like, you are! That bum! And they were all like, and you're like, remember when you thought Lupin was Lupin? And they're all like, what? Lupin? And they're all laughing, and you're like, I thought it was funny, but it's true. And you're like, oh! And you're like, yeah, I know, right? So, like, maybe that's going to be the bomb. And she's like, oh, yeah, by the way, Lupin and Lupin are the same person. And they're like, oh, you take off the glasses, I see it. Like, I should hope that face isn't one of musing... I should hope that face isn't one of musing insults to my character, Miss Widley. Of course not. I'm sure. Now, I wish to know your reasoning behind this conclusion, Ryan.
That's simple. I'm going with my gut. What? That's it? You blasted fool. Try to come up with something that has a hint of merit before you point the finger.
One's gut instincts is not to be dismissed, Inspector. Could be a valuable resource in our line of work. And you're like, yeah, I mean, you were right the first time. He's like, what? Nothing? You know, and he's... Wait, you agree with him? Then does this mean... Unless there be misunderstanding, I am the real Holmes. And if you are, then let me ask you something only he would know. Do you remember the day you spotted a cat on the windowsill of her flat during breakfast? Tell me what you did next. You were watching, Watson? Holmes, who had yet so much as a twitch, appeared to be shaken by this news. Come now, what's the answer? Did you drive it away? Ignore it? He cuddled it, didn't he? He petted it. I suspect the latter. Holmes wouldn't be interested in a cat. Oh my god, no, he cuddled it. I fed it. What? My surprise was genuine. Holmes managing to feed an animal was absurd, surely. It's true, actually. Animals hate him. He had such poor luck with them that I'd have sooner expected the cat to flee the moment it saw his face. And you were so close, too. You can't force it to take the food. You have to wait for it to come to you. It's true, right? Disney Princess Jellyfish hair over here. Why am I being lectured on how to feed an animal by you? Is this all relevant to what we're doing now? It was a sight to me, really. You don't make a habit of being friendly with people, much less animals. But you certainly made an effort with that stray. Watson's enthusiasm when recounting the tale was only as much as Holmes's repugnance. Jeff aside, this is good news. This here is the genuine Holmes. Well done, Watson. It was only natural you would prove my innocence. Well, this is a surprise. Compliment me any more and I might blush. Oh, bromance. Now, my dear assistant, wouldn't it only be right if I were to prove your innocence in kind? Mine? Holmes, now, why are you reaching for Watson's face? You aren't... Ow! Holmes spared no heart as he pulled on Watson's cheeks, who cried with the same level of enthusiasm he displayed in bliss. With one, perhaps pointless, mystery ahead of our way, perhaps pointless, I instructed Pendleton to survey the area around the facility whilst myself and the others investigated within. Holmes retired for the room containing aquatic plants, and Watson left for the rooftop. I know we had to do it, but I still feel a little sorry for Watson. I hope his cheeks are feeling better now. And this aquarium really is beautiful, though. I admired the many tanks with a twinkle of wonder. Thank God they didn't try to prove that I was who I said I was. They'd be like, wait, and you'd be like, are you really a girl? Don't you get fucking near me, I will kill you. And they're like, she's definitely a girl. I will rip your nutsack off if you even try to fucking touch my goodies. Okay, it's her. Luminous tanks featuring both freshwater and saltwater fish were on display in dark rooms to convey a sense of touring the ocean. Each tank was a faithful recreation of its respective environment, as well as massive enough to allow the life swimming within comfort equal to that of the real thing. Oh my, what a treat this is. Through wandering about did I find myself drawn to one in particular. The fish inside were small enough to fit several of them on a tablespoon worthy to be carefully scooped up. Why would you do that? Leave them alone. Before me was a living painting of reds, yellows, and blue, all dashing and intermingling with the flow of a brush to canvas. Shapes merged, dispersed, and stretched to no rhyme. 1 second served a different visual than the next. What energy! What beauty! I can hardly believe my eyes. It's like peering into a world of dreams. I'm assuming it's looping because it's question mark. And that it is. The beauty of this tank is truly in a league of its own. What? That voice came from the other side of this tank, I believe. Do you see it? How full of life they are. How there's elegance in their every motion, contentment, complacency, for they know not how it deceives. To these fish, this tank is but a prison, yet they remain unaware, and so they swim as though it were a palace. I must again ask, do you see it, Spacey? I'm hoping it's him, otherwise... Yeah, okay. Lupin, it's you, isn't it? The tank's back was fitted with a mirror, making it impossible for me to see what was on the other side. Oh my god, if he isn't fucking beautiful. That's a CG. Woo! That's a C. That is the. I think that's probably the best one we gonna get. Oh, he's a pretty man. And just so you know, if you try anything suspicious, I will disappear. Then if I stay, so will he. Oh, no fuss, no sudden movement. And I was mistaken. You're not here to catch me. I wasn't aware of how desperate you were to see me since our last meeting. I have questions for you, Lupin. Is your true identity John Lupin? Lupine, whatever. Shouldn't it be the other way around? I would have thought you'd ask if John Lupin's true identity was mine. Which one is really you doesn't matter. What I want to know is why you stopped coming to school. Um, Indeed, I had no clues to what he was thinking, and indeed, I knew he was the key to retrieving my photograph. But more than I desired an answer for either of those things, did I want him to know my anger after he was gone, just because she loves him so hard. Oh, what a peculiar question to ask of a gentleman thief. Did you fancy Lupin so? What did the time at Harrington Academy mean to you? Was it so trivial that you could leave it behind and forget everything that happened there? And just what do you expect me to say? Answer the question! Oh, she's like, answer the question! Oh, look, we love him so much, our little nerd. The Academy is an important place for me, as are you, Lupin. I always thought of you as a part of what made it so important. And then you left it all behind like it meant nothing to you. And this isn't a game or a school lesson, Spacey. I don't have time to play the good friend anymore. I have a goal, and I shall stop at nothing until I've achieved it. And this means I won't be returning your photograph to you, my dear. No matter how important it is to you. You're a selfish man. I don't understand how you can throw away your memories, your friendships, and still smile. I wonder, Spacey, do you like stories? Either he wasn't aware of my anger or he didn't care. Oh, he cares. He just fighting it, girl. He just holding it. He's just so good. Whatever the answer, the tone which Lupin assumed was almost painful in its gaiety. I'll call it a selfish request from a selfish man, but there's a story I wish for you to hear. Will you listen? I suppose my silence was taken as consent, for he soon began. As I had no reason not to listen, for his voice added something quite pleasant to the fish I loved to watch. Once upon a time there lived a beautiful princess. She was one free of spirit. No man, woman, or being could rule her heart. Yet there were those who despised this about her, and so they stole her liberty through imprisonment in a dark castle. The border around this, like there's a curtain up here, but this looks really fucking cool. I don't know if you can see it because it's like really dark gray and like a black and like, but it looks really fucking neat. Under duress beyond her means, she waited. She waited for a hero, waited for a prince, waited for a miracle. But none of these came. Her freedom instead was restored by none other than a gentlemanly thief. And this thief stole her away, and the two fell into everlasting love. It's so the story of Arsène Lupin kidnapping Cardia. And he rid her body of a deadly poison. Oh my god, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? And their love in time blossomed them, blessed them with a child, and oh, did they spoil this boy rotten. And fairy tales are such wonderful things. I've loved them since I was a little girl. Oh, I've longed for treasures like the magic mirror in the tale of Snow White, or the glass slipper in Cinderella. But they aren't real. If they don't exist, is there a point in wanting them at all? You say that, but your father may very well steal ones just like them. He was the first to ever give me a beautiful treasure as a present. Look, isn't this necklace stunning? Are they stealing things to try to, like, resurrect her or some crazy shit? You always show that one to me. Do you love that necklace more than you love me? Heavens, there's no reason to sulk. Why, your papa and I know our greatest treasure, and it's right here in front of me. I don't like being treated like a baby, Maman, but I like it when you give me hugs. We'll give you hugs, you big queen baby Lupin. My goodness, how adorable you are. I wonder which one of us you picked that up from. The princess was a mother now, but even in motherhood, her nature held true. She wished for a world beyond the mundane, hungered for it. Did she, like, run away on them? Because that'd be, like, so sad. Her man would not hear of it at first, and the danger was too great. But his love had a will of iron, and his that of but his love had a will of iron, and his that of wood, which was soon chipped away by a persistence that would not soften. He permitted her to assist in his work. This is like Cardia became Arsène Lupin's, like, fuck it. Is that, like, what happens in the book? Like, because Arsène Lupin is actually a literary character, but, like, I've never read the books, but, like, is that what happens? Like, this happens? Because, like, it's so very much the, like, Lupin path and Code Realize, like, you'll be my apprentice. Knowing his mother wished to help his father was a source of conflict for their son. The boy inherited his father's natural gift for thievery. It was quite possibly as early as the day he could stand that he was placed under strict instruction to bring out further potential. He knew but this one world. So remarkable was his talent that his father expected celebrity that expected celebrity that would one day match his own. And still the boy did not rejoice. He had no want to become a successor. No. Papa has Mama and Mama has Papa. What does it matter if I try? The world changed when harm came to his mother. I'm sorry. I made a mess of this one. His father took her into his arms, but no matter how many times he pleaded with her, she would not speak of how she was injured. The necklace she always wore was nowhere to be seen. And their son took her hand and squeezed it, but his warmth could not become hers. Minute after minute, her body grew colder. That's really sad. Like, I don't know how young he was, but, like, I'm assuming he's a little kid, but, like, that's sad. Like, he watched her die. Oh, dude, I know what that feels like. I mean, my mother was not, like, a thief. My father didn't watch my mom, but, like, I did watch my dad die, so, like, I understand. But when your mama was small like you, she loved stories of all kinds. She dreamt of a prince on a white horse coming to her rescue. Never did she dream the one who would come was a thief with a beautiful smile. Mama, your hands are so cold. Please don't speak. Not another word. And yet when your father stole me, I learned of true happiness. I found so many treasures. I was able to have you. You're both priceless treasures to me. I love you so much. Talk about sad. In the presence of her love and her child, she breathed her last. The two were overcome with grief. There was nothing that could fill the hole in that boy's heart. It was then that he accepted the world of his fathers, stealing one treasure after another, endlessly, in dear hopes of discovering a beauty that would one day heal his wounds. A good one, isn't it? People do love their tragedies. I don't know why I touched the glass then. It was cold, and its touch was so different to its brilliant color. Why did you tell me that story? God, he's so fucking pretty. Because I wanted you to hear it. Is that not reason enough? Well, Lupin, no matter what stories you tell me, I shan't change my mind. I will take back my treasure. Such courage, Spacey. And then again, I rather like that about you. But I don't like the way you tease and lie. And that's it. So you like everything else about me. How did you come to that conclusion? I spoke in jest. I wish I could speak with you more even, but we've run out of time. I'm aware of how rude it is to leave without giving a lady her chance to respond, so do forgive me. I've enjoyed this moment of intimacy between us, however brief it was, and thank you for listening to my story. Oh, wait! He could have heard me, or he could have ignored it. By the time I called to him, he was no longer there. My emotions surged in unrest, and the fish, stunning in all their color, continued to paint in unrest as well. This is the perfect place to stop! Okay, so I'm going to wrap this part up here. And we'll continue the next part. So I will see you guys next time. remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.